morning, friends. I have a bit of a throat issue, so I'm going to try and get through this well. I've got my water here. I want to talk to you about building on the next step. So last week I shared about taking up space and claiming some space for your own where you can be unburdened by everyone else's stuff, and you can focus on yourself and your work in the world. So I want to, whatever space you have claimed, and if you haven't yet, let's do it. Find a space, and it doesn't necessarily have to be in your home. If you have the ability to, hey, good morning. If you have the ability to keep some sort of space outside of your home, and an entire room of your own is super. And if you aren't able to do that, if you can claim your nightside table, corner with a desk in it, or an altar, or some shelf or cupboard or something where it is yours and yours alone, and you can be in that space to focus on you and your work in the world, do it. The bigger, the better. Okay, so I want to talk about how we are going to then set up that space. So the first step, and these are kind of small little things that we're doing every week. I don't want to overwhelm you, but I also want to let you know that these aren't insignificant and that they build on each other. So if it seems silly, if it seems like you can skip it, I really encourage you to not skip and to take these small steps each and every week. And I promise you it will build up. So right now, a lot of what we're doing is mindset work in order to really dig into our work in the world in the spring and really kind of come alive and take lots of action there. Okay, so I have always taken this time of year to clear and set up my space, kind of reflect on the previous year, regroup, prepare my space. And this year I did something completely different, and it has made a huge difference. I've been studying a lot about brain stuff and how we think and how that influences our behavior and our physical being as well. So instead of just reorganizing, clearing my desk, doing all like the major cleaning, I cleared everything out of the room. I emptied the room. And this, of course, made the cleaning and the energetic clearing a lot easier. But more importantly than that, it disrupted my default bias, the same default bias we all have. So despite our hearts and souls wanting change and growth and expansion, our brains will always want the status quo. And at least our subconscious brain, which happens to be responsible for more than 95% of the decisions that we make. And I'll share some really fascinating studies, information around that. Blows my mind. Okay, so this, of course, has huge implications for how we will go about making these big growth changes this year. And it will inform how I can best support you in doing that. But for now, I just want to talk about how this inherent bias, how we can work with that to help us prepare the soil for us to plant the seed in the spring, which is simply another way of saying claiming your space and doing the work that's going to help clear your mental space as well. So in doing the physical clearing, it's going to help with everything else, mental, energetic being. Okay, so first of all, with everything removed, when I cleared everything out of my office, it just felt really good. It was spacious, it was clear, felt expansive, full of possibility. I had a blank slate before me, and I really want you to try this in whatever space you have. Clear it out, clean it up, light a candle, burn some incense, do what you do, and just sit in that space and enjoy that feeling. Just notice what that is, because that is your space. All of this is yours. It is your space. It is your clarity. It is your place of expansion, and it is the thousands of possibilities that lie before you. So again, that is why this work that seems kind of small, nice, but maybe not hugely impactful, it really is when we, it's it's a great, accessible place to start to feel your power. Okay, so when you are done basking in that glow and you look outside of your room and there's just giant paper piles and books and chairs and notebooks and journals and binders and bills and more notebooks and journals, because I feel you, I have the same issue in the office supply store. I always need a new journal. That's fine. You'll see that and you're like, okay, I need to now reassemble my space. How am I going to create this space? So you're going to say, what is it that I want to keep? What is truly going to inspire me in doing my work in the world, and whatever that is, and what no longer supports you and motivates you in the absolute strongest way possible. So in the years past, I would ask myself these same questions, but I would do that without the whole clearing out. So I would be looking around at things that were already existing in this space. I would ask myself these questions, and even though I thought that I was being super intentional and conscious, my brain was already in keep it mode. So because of that default bias I have, my brain already was influencing my conscious decision to keep things the way they were. And it was only in removing everything from that space that I was able to force my subconscious to be a little less biased in how it influenced my conscious decision making. And it's remarkable what goes on under the surface, and how like aware we think we are and intentional, and like how much is really being influenced by that. But we can work with it, and we can set up even our subconscious to make better decisions for us, I guess. So the result has been a space that has maintained this feeling of clarity much longer for me than it ever has. So I was doing this work around Thanksgiving time, and it's still have my shit together. There's just far less stuff weighing me down visually, cluttering up my thought process. And when I come in here to work or to write, I have so much more clarity around what I'm doing. It's the space is just a lot more supportive than it's ever been. It feels really good. And I'm not even done doing all the things that we're going to do. So there's more on that. Early on in clearing and preparing the space, I committed to only keeping whatever, like one project out at a time. This never even occurred to me because I just always had all my things out. I would intentionally leave things out as like little reminders for myself. Like, oh, I better leave this out. I mean, I had piles. I was super organized about my chaos and my clutter. But what I didn't realize until having this new system was how distracting all of those things were. I'm able to, like, with that contrast, I can now look back and go, oh my gosh, that was actually not helpful at all. That was super distracting. It was clutter, visual clutter. It was energetic clutter. It was physical clutter. It was all weighing me down in ways that I was not even aware of until I did this. So I would love for you to try this technique of completely clearing things out. Once you get all the physical stuff out, then you can do whatever energetic clearing ritual that you engage in. And only then do you start to reassemble your space. And I think you'll be really surprised and happy with what you can create when you are doing this work from the ground up. So, yay! Awesome. Okay, so that's your challenge for this week. That's what I task you with. Clear it out and start to reassemble. And I'm going to share some of these articles and studies. It's super. I'm so fascinated by human behavior. I did my post-grad work. It was in behavior analysis, so It fascinates me. And what else? I'm going to talk more about exactly how we can continue to build this space up for us. And then we move on to bigger and better things. But this is the foundation. So I really want you guys to pay attention to this and create a space for you. All right. Love you, friends. Talk to you soon. Bye.